the wife of the former finance minister, Kenneth Mayo Ofori-Atta, is saying her husband will need about 3 months to recover after he successfully underwent a cancer surgery. Now, how does this new information influence the processes that the Special Prosecutor and other investigative bodies have set in motion to bring him back to Ghana? That's the question that we're asking tonight. What we do know already is that Kenneth Ofori-Atta, according to the letter from the Mayo Clinic, which we're going to refer and recall shortly, that he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, was scheduled for a surgical operation. We understand that has been done as of Friday, but the wife of the former finance minister, Kenneth Mayo Ofori-Atta, is saying her husband has undergone the said surgery successfully with robotic assistance and the radical prostatectomy to deal with prostate cancer. As we do know earlier, that communication of Kenneth Ofori-Atta being diagnosed with prostate cancer was made known by the Special Prosecutor, and then also a letter from the Mayo Clinic where we understand he is receiving medical treatment. What we're learning further is how long he's going to take to recover and how that influences this entire investigation, because it's not just about the Special Prosecutor anymore. Last week we got to know that the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, is interested in Kenneth Ofori-Atta's physical presence, and then also the National Intelligence Bureau. Dennis Poberi Wadam Esquire has been studying the detail of this latest report and the update from the wife of Kenneth Ofori-Atta. Is joining me in the studio right now. It's good to have you, as always.
Always Dennis. A pleasure, Alfred.
What do we know? What's the latest?
Well, so we are getting a letter. It looks familiar because in the previous weeks we have received a letter on the same letterhead, except that this time around the only distinguishing feature is that even though it's on the letterhead of the family of Kenneth Ofori-Atta, this time around it has an identified signatory on it. So the wife is the one who signs off this particular letter, giving an update on the health status of the husband.
Because previously we had issues that the first one didn't have a signatory.
Yes, it was just signed by the family of Kenneth Ofori-Atta. There was no identified individual who signed off that particular letter. But what we have today now, you see signed by Professor Mrs Angela Ofori-Atta, wife. And this letter basically gives updates as to the surgery that the former finance minister had said that he was going to undertake on the 13th of June, for which reason he was unable to honor the invitation of the OSP on 2nd June. We do also know that the failure of that meeting is one of the things that triggered the OSP to initiate processes for extradition and also put him on the Interpol Red Notice and all that. But what we do find in this letter and subsequent conversations to this letter is the fact that, yes, the surgery was successful, and if you'd indulge me, let me just read it in her own words. That Kenneth Ofori-Atta undergoes successful cancer surgery. That's the heading for the benefit of those on radio. My husband, Kenneth Ofori-Atta, the former finance minister, has undergone a scheduled robotic assistant radical prostatectomy. This was to deal with prostate cancer, and it was done at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota on Friday, June 13th. The procedure took 4+ hours. The doctors are pleased with how the procedure went and will now place him on a postoperative regime. Kenneth has always been resilient, but this has been very difficult, with the OSP choosing the period just before his surgery to declare a red alert on him. Kenneth is bearing up well and focused on doing whatever he can to be restored to good health. Our family is truly grateful for the support and prayers of many people and pastors. This signed by Professor Mrs Angela Ofori-Atta, wife of the former finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. The only reference made to the OSP is to the fact that the timing that the OSP put him back on the Interpol Red Notice to declare him wanted is a cause of worry. Aside that, this basically is an update on the health status of the former finance minister. What we do not know is if this information has been made available to the OSP, because what we have here is a statement to the public. This is a public statement.
Absolutely.
And that is very important because if you recall, there was a letter from the Mayo Clinic. This letter was supposed to form part of the documents that were sent to the OSP to inform the OSP of his unavailability on 2nd June.
Yeah.
Would later find out that the OSP did not receive this letter, at least.
At the time?
At the time. The OSP had said...
Of the press conference?
Yes, they had not received this particular letter, even though this letter was made public.
Yeah.
And what was this letter saying? This letter was to whoever it would concern, perhaps including the OSP. And this letter was that I am writing to inform you that Mr. Ofori-Atta has undergone an MR-guided biopsy and has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. A surgical intervention has been deemed necessary after the testing and MRI and biopsy procedures in March 2025. As I indicated in my February letter, this surgical procedure has been scheduled for June 13 with Dr. Parat Shah of the Department of Urology. See attached letter. It is hoped that a closer date may open up. So this was the letter informing the OSP I am unavailable due to a scheduled surgery, and that this procedure, which is now informing the decision to have the surgery on Friday, June 13, was done March 25. So if you listen to the OSP has concerns that if as far back as March 2025, you knew that you were going to have a surgery on a later date, why did you have to wait until late May for you to inform the OSP, knowing that you were going to have a date with the OSP early June?
That's right.
So those are basically the matters. But what we are learning now, even beyond this particular letter, the wife has been speaking, and I'll show you excerpts of what she's been saying as regards when, hopefully, the former finance minister will be available. But remember, in all of this, the former finance minister has been proposing a video conference with the OSP that due to my circumstance, I will be available on video. However, the OSP insists on his physical presence. We also learned along the lines, not only the OSP who is looking for the former finance minister, IOCO is also looking for him in respect of some separate matters. But this is what we are learning from the wife beyond the letter that has been written. That's as regards when he likely will be available. This is what she says, in parts. Then there would be a period of about 3 months when there's observation going to happen. Then hopefully after 3 months, the recovery will be complete. And that's if all goes well. She's simply saying, other things being equal, we are looking at the next 3 months for recovery to be complete.
So after this moment that we're getting to know that he has successfully gone through the surgery on Friday,
yes,
he is going to go through a period of recovery.
Recovery, yes.
And that's going to take 3 months.
3 months.
And that's if all goes well.
Precisely so.
So there's a conditional clause to the timeline for his recovery.
Precisely so.
That if all goes well, then it's 3 months, but it could be more.
Yes. But this is not even a confirmation that after 3 months, if the recovery is complete, I'll be available. Mind you, this is the wife who is speaking. It's neither Ken Ofori-Atta himself or his lawyers who he has instructed to have engagements with the OSP. In any case...
Or his doctors. Because really, it's not within the capacity of the wife to determine how long the recovery is going to be.
Precisely so.
We should be hearing that from the doctors.
And when you listen to the wife, she's very clear who she's speaking to. She makes the point that she's not speaking to the OSP, she's speaking to Ghanaians. And that's what informs the public statement that has been issued. So, I mean, this is what we have by way of what the wife has been saying in respect of this particular matter.
I see. Interesting stuff. Let's flip to the more of what his wife said on Joy FM, because a number of things that came up. Yes.
He has quite a bit of pain. This is the wife speaking. we have to make sure his wounds don't get infected. I think that they are expecting that he will be much improved after a while when the wounds heal. Now, this is the part that dovetails into the period that is needed for that healing process to happen and the recovery being complete within the period of 3 months.
I see.
Yes.
This is Professor Angela Ofori-Atta,
wife of Ken Ofori-Atta.
Interesting detail in there. But then again, it also brings into perspective the position that the Special Prosecutor has taken with regards to that virtual option, because she speaks about it in this interview as well, is it not? That the lawyers of Ken Ofori-Atta has made it quite clear that they don't want him or his recovery to be the reason why this investigation will stall. And so the virtual option should be explored. I put this question to Sammy Darko, who is head of strategy, communications, and research at the Office of Special Prosecutor. And he explains why, regardless of this detail, they still need Ken Ofori-Atta in person, physically. Take a look. Lawyer Sammy Darko is joining us on the telephone, but it was trying to get him on Zoom, but we couldn't connect. As the United States
investigation will be aware. I would like to address a little confusion in the minds of, I think, lawyers in particular. You know, some lawyers are treating Mr. Ofori-Atta as if he's an accused person, which means that Mr. Ofori-Atta has been charged. He has been arrested and charged. So they will talk about why the OSP not taking advantage of mutual legal assistance program and go and do video conferencing, blah, blah. The OSP is aware of all these things, but these things are used when a person has been arrested, charged, and placed before a court. As we speak, Mr. Ofori-Atta has not been arrested by any law enforcement agency. So the suggestion that we could take Mr. Ofori-Atta via Zoom may not apply, because we cannot arrest a person through Zoom. We cannot take a caution statement from a suspect through Zoom, because the only time you can take a caution statement is when the person has been placed under arrest properly, so-called.
Right.
And let me also address the little issue about trying absentia. If you study our Constitution very well, Article 19.3 details how trying absentia should happen. And the conditions are about 2. It says that when a person, an accused, when we say an accused, it means that you have been arrested, charged, has a disruptive behavior, such that placing him before the court will disrupt proceedings. Or if the person, having been charged, that is, the accused, being placed before court, elects not to come to court at all. So there's a popular case called Kwache, that is the Republic, which is like the case on it even ended at Court of Appeal. The whole idea is that the person must be tried in his presence, unless that person facing trial elects to say, I don't want to attend the trial, right? But we also do know that, so that's why it will even take international court. And it's the same principle across international court of human rights matters. If you take the ICC, for instance, why do you think that they issue arrest warrants for people and put them on Interpol, heads of state, former heads of state? Why? Because they could try them in absentia. So why don't they try them in absentia? But they still insist that they should have been arrested and brought. So if you say Slovakian, Milan Slovak, one of the presidents, after he had been arrested and placed before the ICC, he then elected and said, I won't come to court again. Then they decided to try him in absentia.
Well, that's something that clearly explaining why, regardless of this detail and how things played out, in that earlier interview I had with him when all of this was playing out, that the OSP and now we know other security agencies are also interested in Ken Ofori-Atta's physical presence. Well, there's some new information from Sammy Darko himself. He posted this on social media. What do we know?
Yes, so soon after the information came out regarding Ken Ofori-Atta's latest health status, Sammy Darko Director of Strategy and Communications at the Office of the Special Prosecutor, posted this on his Facebook page. He says that you may choose to distort facts or shift the goalposts, but the truth remains, as of today, Mr. Ofori-Atta has not produced any certified medical reports or flight risk assessment from his personal attending physicians or hospital indicating that he is incapacitated or unable to travel. He was given the opportunity to appear before law enforcement between February and June 2, 2025, but failed or refused to do so. Notably, he did not undergo any surgery on 21st or 22nd March 2025, despite a statement from his medical coordinator, widely circulated online, suggesting otherwise. Furthermore, has Mr. Ofori-Atta not traveled in and out of the UK or USA between March and 31st May 2025? He's asking.
That's the question he's asking.
If he is able to fly internationally, what prevented him from appearing before law enforcement?
Is that to suggest that the OSP has some information that Ofori-Atta has flown between this period internationally, but not to Ghana?
That's what he suggests. And he gives a time frame between March and end of May 2025, asking if he has not traveled in and out of the UK and US.
This is a question that the OSP must obviously give us some detail to, Dennis, is it not? Because we don't have the capacity to answer this question.
Not at all. But this appears to be a rhetorical question, if
absolutely.
You ask me.
It begs for a lot of answers, but I appreciate you as always. Dennis Barbera with Esquire. Stay with me.